everybody, welcome to the channel for new battle report. So this is another practice game. I played against Juggernaut from Team France. He's playing Kingdom of Equitaine, so we really wanted to try out the matchup. So let's see how it goes. My list didn't change a lot. Basically, I brought this time back an Overlord in the list. I wanted to try this out. Kept the Small Anointed, kept the Incarnate for the moment in the list. I don't remember if I played them last game. I think I'm not sure, but I wanted to try them again. I feel for the point there is something to do, while I always struggle how to maneuver them. They are not so easy to maneuver, but I still feel for the points there is something to do about them. So I want to continue to try them out sometimes. And yeah, I kept the Small Anointed instead of bigger one that are more expensive, but the smaller one are still good scoring units, decent damage output. So I kept that. I kept the Combat Titan. And yeah, we have the Overlord back in the list. My opponent played the following list. He has a Combat Lord on an Hippogriff, then he has a Master Divination, so not Druidist, a small change. He wanted to add some range damage in the list. Then he has the Duke of Justice, so basically get additional attack while a rank and file in the unit dies, so he goes in the Knight of the Realm, so he has the BSB. Then he has 2 units of Sergeant with Great Weapon. That are good chaff, anti-chaff, can hold. Also you can put the Master Divination in it. You can score, they gives also a blessing token at the beginning of the game, so they are quite useful for the point, I feel. 9 Quest Knight, then he has 2 units of Outlaws that he wanted to try out, 5 Yeomen Outriders, the Fey Knights, and 5 Naiad with Champion to have additional magic. So basically this upgrade Divination to 21 inch. He has also the heal, so despite no Druidist, he still has 1 heal with the Naiad, which is the cheap heal, so it's not bad at all. We played Refused Flank and Hold Ground, so explosive configuration, and below you have the spell selection. I picked more buff than I usually do. I debated whether or not I should take Mark for Doom, but with the Black Knight Tabard on the Hippogriff, it might take too long to do something on him, and we're playing Hold Ground, so we might clash very soon. So I felt let's take the Ward Save, and then Rot Within. So plenty. I have 4 combat attack and 4 combat spell basically. So very, very, very nice, but not a lot of damage. But still, Rot Within might be annoying from distance, and then I can do Toxic, I can do Gravecall. So I felt in a matchup where I expect a lot of fight, it's the right setup, and on the right you have his setup. Basically, yeah, no big surprise here. We roll 2 hit Divine Attack, Unerring Strike, Fate Judgment, and then Hereditary, the heal, and Scrying. So explosive configuration, like I said, unstable. I think it's who is going to start will have an advantage. I must say, with my list and the ID generally, not the favorite match for KOE, I guess, because of the amount of ranks that I have in some unit, because of the rule Infernal brand that makes very hard to break me on the charge. Basically, it could be a bit annoying for him. I have good range damage to potentially hurt his single model, but he has not many of them, as you can see. He has only 2, which is for me a change in comparison to most of the lists that I saw last year from Kingdom of Equitaine with 4 or 5 single model that are very annoying. So it's definitely different with only two of them. Divination obviously problematic for the Kadim family, so he might do a lot with that. I have to be careful about that, and therefore put the estimation as an equal. I think it's quite unstable, depends who can start and how it's going to go regarding range damage and the way we engage. So deployment, he won the roll for side, gave me an impassable, pick the heal, which makes sense, and then I drop for first turn. I did this way, so I put the Overlord on the weak flank together with the Kadim Titan, then the 3 Anointed with Paired Weapon, Slave, Bastion with the character, then here we have the Infernal Warrior, my Kadim Incarnate, and on the far left the Great Weapon Anointed, because I expected here to have a character, which he did. He plays the Fey Knight here, then he has here the Burst of Realm with the BSB, the Quest, the Chaff, the 2 unit of Sergeant with the Master Divination, the 2 shooting unit, and the Naiad, and his general here. So as we can see, he surprised me a bit. I decided not to come in a frontal approach. I expected him to be stronger here. That's why I put so many strong units here in the bottom, which he didn't do. He decided to go for like his weak corner with most of his strengths, and here only to basically slow me down. We can see the game plan. Even if I push hard, it's going to slow me down, shoot me, do divination. He can move around here and basically try to create here an advantage against my unit here that are a bit stuck with this impassable. Try to go on them, hurt them, and then be able to push toward the center. So a different approach from what I expected. So we will see if it was good or not to do that, but definitely it gives me a bit of pushing ability towards the center, which I like, because it's not so close for my bastion, so I can easily push towards the middle. And also worth mentioning, the quest will reroll to wound against the Infernal Warriors unit. So my turn 1, I push a bit forward towards the middle. I want to get already very close to the 6-inch line in case he chaffs me or something. I can still score it easily. I push the rest, giving him very long charges. Here I angle myself so that the Fey Knight cannot move out of arc. And on the right I started to move towards the right with the Academy Titan, still far away from him. And the Overlord move a bit more in between, but I'm already a bit stuck here in this small corner, not so easy to move around. I decided, instead of moving the Overlord to the right and then he can move away and I will lose a lot of time, I prefer to keep him towards the middle. We play all the ground, so I want to support my combat pieces in the middle. In the magic phase, I'm going to get a breast weapon in on my bastion, and then I get Gravecall on 4 dice against 5, kill 3 cavalry, and I finish them with the breast weapon. So very nice. Got rid of the chaff turn 1, which is more than expected. His turn 1, still managed to do a colon and get the mage within 21 of the Kadim, move those guys back, ready to shoot me to death. So already feeling it's going to be hard for the Kadim to survive very long in this type of configuration. He keeps his general here. Here push a bit forward, but not that much. The quest attempted a long charge, worth mentioning. He attempted an 11 onto the Infernal Warriors. I didn't understand it at the time. I asked him after the game. He told me his idea was to basically break me in 2 rounds. So the first round of combat he will do a lot of damage due to the reroll to wound, and then he would commit his realm to chaff the Incarnate. And basically he had also chaff available in case he need to, but I think I don't see him, so I have no counter charge, and he will assume the combat between Incarnate and Realm. I felt this is a dicey combat for him, so I was a bit surprised by that, but why not? So he attempted this charge on 11 on my Infernal Warrior, which he failed. So we will see how I can punish that. In the magic phase, he gets Fate Judgment on my Academy Titan, and then 4 dice against 5, an Earring Strike, go through, do another 3 wounds, and then shooting from the Outlaw, kill the Titan. So yeah, I don't know what I expected. Moving sideways with the Titan, I was going to achieve nothing. You can see, even if I'm surviving 2 more rounds, what would I do? Next round 14, then he can still move back. I will still get nothing. Then another 14, I mean in 3 rounds of shooting and magic I'm going to die. So I should have moved him back and keep him from later. I think it was a suicidal move, so to say. So not so happy. And also worth mentioning, on the far left, as you can see, he didn't respect my anointed at all. He just pushed in the ring and told me, you can charge me. So we will see how that goes. My turn 2. So before starting, a couple of considerations here. I have here my Incarnate completely stuck. I deployed them in front of an Impassable, which is not smart at all. So basically I cannot move back. I have a charge here on a 10. What I checked before, I can easily chaff quest. So even if I fail this charge, the only thing that I need to be prepared of is those guys could then charge my Incarnate. But that's not the end of the world. I have a ward save, I can prepare a counter charge, so I felt this is not too bad. So I took the charge on a 10, thinking if I get it very nice, I should win this combat. And if I don't, I can basically chaff, prepare a counter charge. I'm going to lose the Incarnate, but still I can do stuff. So let's try that. And here on the left, I want to take the charge. I feel that with strength 7 anointed and the charge, I can win it, potentially break him despite the stubborn. I mean, it's check on the 8. The BSB was probably within 12, I would say. So I think as rerollable, but still he could fail it. I could kill him. We will see how that goes. I want to try out. So I got the Incarnate in. They rolled the 10 Swift Stride, which is really nice. In his magic phase, the rest of the movement, I needed to push those guys forward to be able to wheel those guys and have counter charge set up. So just saying him, you have 3 charge options with the realm. You can charge here, then I will see you in the flank. So you will need to reform or something. You can charge the Incarnate if I get stuck, but then I counter charge you. It's a bad news for you. And you can charge directly in me, but I have the Infernal Brand rule. You're not going to break me, and then I might get a free reform somewhere, and then you might get counter charge in a bad way. So that's the way I did. I place also 2 units within all the ground, so those 2 scoring units, it's going to be hard for him to get 2 scoring units as well. So I felt should be one up after the first round. And here the second unit just move out of the way to make way and push a bit and try to open the game basically. So I just send them both forward. I move sideways with the 2 units ready to countercharge, move out of the forest with the flyer. So ready to get some nice countercharge in. What I could have done slightly better, just angle the bastion a bit more to have a line of sight here maybe. I don't know, it's hard to get a flank, so I don't know, to be honest. Let's move on to magic phase. So I got, he put ward save on the quest to try to save them, obviously. And he got a +1 to hit on the Fey Knight, try to do as much damage as possible. Then I got big hereditary in on the quest to basically make them hit me on 4+, and I get reroll to wound. Breath weapon cast on myself, I did nothing on the surgeon this time. And then let's move on to close combat. I have a lot of stat for you. So on the left, as you can see, the Fey Knight roll average with 2 wounds on the guy on top and 0 wound on the mount, which is obviously key that he doesn't do 3 or more wounds, because that would be 1 model less for me to attack back. I didn't put the impact hit here. I don't know what's the stat of the 3 impact hit on 4 up, and then he has what, 5 up, 4 up, so maybe, yeah, slightly better. Here I roll pretty average. So I could have potentially killed him between the impact hit and those attacks. As you can see, it's not a big scandal. I mean, it's 34% chance of doing 3 or more wounds than maybe 1 on the impact. So it was possible, but didn't happen, and he passed the check. So we stay that way. And here, the Incarnate go crazy. So we go same time. He did 4 wounds to me, which is totally okay. And myself, I managed to do 6 wounds to him with the Incarnate and 3 more wounds with the grind. So basically, basically I one-shot the unit, which I didn't expect at all. I expect to win combat, maybe break him, but definitely not do 9 wounds, so kill in one go all the quest, which gives me a reform. So yeah, not expected. He's turn 2, so I reform in a way to tell him I can see up to the 3rd file. You can charge here, you can reform out of line of sight, but then you don't charge the best juicy target, which is those guys or those guys. So it's like, I gave him like a choice. Do you want to charge something without counter charge? And in that case, I have Infernal Bronze, so I still will be here, and those guys will be free. What do you want to do? So I tried to give him a choice. We will see if it was right or not. He can still reform out, so we will see. He moved back with the Hippogriff to support here a situation where we engage. The Surgeon charge onto the Slave, move those guys a bit forward, and I had as well. Try to blocking the Incarnate reforms. In the magic phase, I dispel distracting on the Fey Knight. Obviously here I see a key combat. If I kill the Fey Knight this round, I can turn around, charge him in the flank, and that will hurt. That will really hurt against those guys. So it's a key moment. The only buff that he can get is distracting on the Fey Knight. So I dispel that one. I get real to hit Divine on the Realm. I let go, and then you get Hereditary on 2 dice. Shooting, he killed a couple of slaves on the left. Unfortunately, I only do 1 wound. He did 1 wound as well, so with 7 attacks. No scandal that I do 1 wound, but as you can see, it's 43% chance of killing him, turning around and charging here. So it's really decent odds. Didn't get this time, but yeah, quite interesting to see that it was perfectly thinkable that I could have had a counter charge. Close combat here, he will do a lot of wounds, but I'm still doubling the rank steadfast, and I'm still here. Obviously, he had no overrun, even if he would have break me, so that was totally fine. And he reforms in a way that the Incarnate doesn't see him. So on my turn, the Incarnate have a charge on the 10, which is completely out of the game, so I felt let's put some pressure here. I thought a lot about the reform here. I could have potentially angled a bit more, but I was afraid that the boss might do something else, but maybe I should have angled them more to force him the choice to charge something and then get counter charge. I don't know. The Surgeon got counter charged by the Anointed. They flee all the way here. Here we're stuck in combat. I turn around Bastion to just make sure that even if he breaks me, which is expected, then he can pursue. He will end up 1 inch in front here. It will be minimized contact in the front. I place the Overlord in the counter charge, and I have those guys also in the counter charge way with the fail charge. I get those guys to chaff here, and the Incarnate march all the way here. Basically can charge me with the Hippogriff that's it. I expect them, they could do free pivot charge here, obviously. So he has a lot of options what he might do, but he has choice to make, and I have a superior amount of threats still alive. So I'm in a good shape. And as you can see, regarding secondary, I got 1 up, and I'm going to be 2 up. So this is looking good for me regarding secondary objective as well. And the magic phase, he gets +1 to hit on the Fey Knight with a blessing token. That's it. I cast Grave Call on General. I felt this is a key moment, not to do, to do wounds is good, obviously, but mainly also to put an attribute of alchemy on him in case he charges Incarnate. It's going to be dangerous for him despite the Basalt Infusion. On the left here, I'm losing by 7, so it's a double 1. I flee. He elected to restrain to get a free pivot and charge something more interesting. So I'm able to flee with the Infernal Warrior, and they will rally at full leadership, so I will lose no points. So that's why I think my move wasn't too bad to allow him to charge those guys, because it was the less threatening charge against me. What else? I'm going to get magic, that's all, and here I'm going to kill the Fey Knight. He do some more wounds, but I kill the Fey Knight and I turn around, so definitely not bad. On his turn, he's going to make a bold move. He's going to say, I still want to try to win it, so he charge here on those guys, and here he charge alone here with the Basalt Infusion guy, telling me I'm going to do enough wound and deal with you, and he want to get the 2 unit fit to face my battle line after that. So obviously some key combat here. We will see how that goes. He has 3 wounds left. I have the reroll to wound, and I forgot to mention his BSB is on 1 wound alive, because in a way I was thinking that my anointed, those guys are lost, or they will lose combat. So let's try to kill the BSB, and also this gives him less attack with justice. So I put as many attack as I could each round, and he has 1 wound left. So he won't do a make way to risk to be killed by anointed. So it's pretty nice that the lords haven't so many wounds left. Here I can chaff again or try to block him. No, sorry, it's not my turn. Yeah, so we take this charge instead of charging here in the back. I think that was the, how can I say, the safest move would have been to charge here, make sure you get rid of them, then you reform in a strong battle line and try to save points. And that's me winning all the ground. I lost some points, and I'm like on 13 or something like that. But he elected to try to win it still and take as many points as he can, so he took the 2 charges in the magic phase. He rally here on a 9, no reroll. He got reroll to hit Divine on the Hippogriff, mainly for the mount, not for the guy that already hit me on 2 up with Divine attack. I dispel the heal, obviously. Shooting, he killed a couple of slaves, and I flee. On the left, so I have a couple of stats for you. So let's start with the Incarnates that, again, shine. So on me first, he strikes before, did 3 wounds with the Lord, did nothing with the Hippogriff, which is disappointing. So he killed only 1 model. I still have 4 model attacking plus the 3 grinds. The model attacking do 1 wound, and the grind do the 2 remaining wounds. So the guy died, which is excellent and not expected, obviously. So despite the Basalt Infusion with reroll to wound and the 3 up ward save, still managed to do wounds. So that was really, really nice for me. And on the left, he rolled a bit low, but still on the green area, he managed to do only 3 wounds. I strike back, do a couple of wounds. I have a check on a 6, no reroll, and I pass it, which is nice. So yeah, well done for my Anointed and Incarnate, 2 surprising combat results for me. On my turn, yeah, obviously a free pivot. I charge here in the back. I had to think between getting rid of the Mage Bunker, causing a lot of leadership 7, or going in the back, but here it's his last big combat unit. I felt if the Incarnate go in and I get rid of them, game is won after that. Move the Overlord in the front, move those guys forward. Here I continue to flee, and those guys rally in a column to charge here in the flank maybe. And Magic Face, I got Hereditary and Rot Within in the combat, so he will hit me on 4th, and the Incarnate will hit him on 3+. And on the left this time, it's my turn to roll a bit low. I fluff with the Anointed, and those guys roll a bit low, but still green area. He has a check on a -3, so it's going to be 6 rollable, and he passed the check, so that's fine for him. He's still here. He's turn 4. He moves into point salvation, so to say. So move here to the flank, to the back, to the side. Those guys move also to the side. Those guys as well. In the magic phase, Binding Scroll, reroll to hit Divine. I want to obviously avoid those guys getting rid of all my combat threats. I dispel distracting. He get a heal on the on the unit, cavalry unit. I think heal 2 guys. I do some more wounds, but he still stick combat and kill my anointed that had a chance to strike at his BSB with 4 attack. It's my champion, so 4 attack on the 4 up, 2 up, and then he has like a 6 up, 5 up maybe, or 6 up, 6 up. But he still managed to save it, and he's still alive, so unfortunate, but yeah, still feeling okay. There is one more round to go, and he hasn't so many wounds left. My turn 5, I charge here, I charge onto those guys, he flee, I redirect my charge this way, onto the Naiad on double 6, and those guys charge on a 10, but they fail charge, he continues to flee. In the magic phase, I get the Bastion to shoot here. In the magic phase, I get a Rot Within and a Ward Save to boost the Incarnate. Shooting, I'm going to do 4 wounds. He passes the check on a 7, and then close combat, I kill everything, and I have 2 models alive, and the Overlord break those guys, turn around looking down the right. He's turn 5s, yeah, move, like I said, point conservation as much as he can. He rallied the cavalry on the right. Fate Judgment dispelled. He get the Unerring Strike on those guys, but didn't do that much. And shooting, he kill a couple of those guys to get half points. My turn, I charge the remaining Incarnate here. I charge again, he flees. Move forward to shoot those guys, yeah, nothing crazy. I fail Hereditary on 3 dice in magic phase, but then he dispelled the ward save, and I get a breast weapon on myself, panic those guys off the boards, which is really nice. And here I break them, catch them, so crazy game from Incarnate. And his turn 6, he doesn't rally on the 7 here, so he is only alive with a unit of Outlaws, which is not much, and it's enough for me to get a 20-0 with all the ground. So yeah, crazy game, a lot of killings. I also lost a good amount of units. Post-game analysis. His deployment surprised me, I must say, caught me a bit off guard on the left, but at the same time all the ground was mine, turn 2, turn 3 easily. So after that it was, how can I say, like upwards mount climbing for him, so really hard for him to recover basically from that. With 2 down on all the ground, it's not so easy. So I'm not sure it was the best way to do it, but I see what he intended to do. On the left I wasn't too happy about the way I deployed with the Incarnate in front of the Impassable, because it forced me to commit, and then I had a lucky turn of event, I think, on the left, definitely. I think my deployment could have been slightly better. Turn 1 Infernal Dwarves should have hide the Titan and come out later. Turn 1 KOE. I'm still not sure it was the right choice to charge with the quest. I felt it's a huge commit early on. It could have waited a bit more. Turn 2 Infernal Dwarves, lucky to one-shot him with the Incarnate, but still a favored combat. We can debate about the reform, but at the same time, the turn of event showed me right. I could have angled a bit more to encourage them to charge into the Incarnate, but yeah, it was the best or the less worth charge for me that he charged into the Infernal Warrior, and he ended up taking no points with them. So I felt it wasn't too bad. Turn 3 KOE. I tried to go for a bigger win, but it backfired in a big way, so he was really heavily punished for that choice, instead of going full into the Incarnate and then turning around. Turn 4 Infernal Dwarves, right choice to prioritize getting risk of the last combat unit rather than going into the Mage Bunker. I think also worth mentioning for the KOE player, he told me also, it's a training game, so he tried to play a bit riskier than usual to try to try out some bold moves, see what can work, what doesn't work, and some things didn't work. Obviously would have made different choice in a tournament game. Relentless Electric Kadim Incarnate, I don't know which superlative I must use for them, but they made a crazy good game. High rolling all the time. The quest. They killed the Lord, the BSB, the Realm, the Naiad. Half the army. It's completely crazy what they did. And yeah, being patient and careful with the Bastion. There were multiple times where I debated, should I commit the Bastion a bit more? And I didn't do it. And I think definitely it was the right choice to play it very safely and engage it later in the game when it was perfectly safe. Deployment wise, what I could have done, I think, a bit better was to put the Incarnate in the ruin. Just tell them strong flank, you can push easily. The Anointed next to them to give leadership and countercharge option, strength 7. The Slave here, Infernal Warrior here closer to the Bastion and in the middle, But I think, yeah, pretty much no big change here. Just basically those two you need to switch and be a bit more in the strong flank. He could have gone then a bit more central, but then the Incarnate are free to push towards the middle and put pressure. So I feel the Incarnate somewhere here around the left are definitely a nice spot for them. And here right flank, we can debate if the Titan should go here, should go top, should go anywhere. I felt it's one side Incarnate, the other side Titan. I should definitely redeploy him after turn 1, move back and maybe engage with him later in the game, but save him from those shooting and divination. We can see from deployment, I mean divination here, the 2 shooting, there is nothing I'm going to achieve in this part of the map. There is no point to take, everything is very mobile and it does range damage, I don't. So it's completely stupid for me to move in this part of the map. I should have just redeployed, be patient and have a good counter charge for the Bastion in case I want to push towards the middle. So yeah, that's it guys for this battle, very interesting, turned out my way, so happy to get this big win, and good test for my list, and talk to you soon on the channel for another round. Bye bye.